Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is the January 2021 HMIS user meeting. If you haven't already, please enter your agency name in the chat box. We have a pretty full agenda today. Today, we're going to go over an update to the HMIS user license fees policies, the coordinated entry migration update, some information on cascading enrollment and assessment data, the agenda for the Data Performance and Planning Committee, a 2021 HIC update, an update to the LSA, an update about our monthly user trainings, the results of our HMIS user survey, a tour of our knowledge base, an update on the 2020 HMIS agency audit process, which is almost complete, some knowledge base article updates, holiday updates, and then a Q&A. All right, so Erin's going to go ahead and get us started with the HMIS user license fees.
Hi, everybody. So the HMIS user license fee policy was approved by the COC board in December. And the final policy is that any agency that is required to participate in HMIS due to funding that they receive will be charged a fee, and those that do not have a requirement to participate in HMIS will not. And for those that do have a fee, if your agency had 1 to 5 users active in HMIS as of December 31st, you will be charged $500 for 2021. And if you have 6 or more users, you will be charged $2,500 for 2021. And this will be an annual process, and so we will be sending out the fees and invoices every January. And so we will be sending out an email to each agency within the next week with information on whether or not your agency has a charge, and if so, what that amount is. And then we will also be sending out invoices and instructions for payment. And I think that's kind of it for the fees, unless there are any questions. And just thanks to all of you for your participation in this process. We've been working on this for probably close to 6 months. So we've been requesting feedback, and a lot of you have given that to us. So thank you for helping us get through this process. Jackie asked, if you have 6 or more, it's $2,500. Yes, that is correct. All right, coordinated entry. So we did send out an email about this, but wanted to let all of you know as well. All of the coordinated entry data, excluding referrals, has been imported into HMIS for the individual and veterans coordinated entry systems. So for access points, what that means is that you can now enter all of your enrollment and VI-SPDAT data directly into HMIS, including any data entry that you were working on during the blackout period and that were collected with the paper forms. For housing agencies, this means that for the time being, matching is still going to be happening outside of HMIS while we work with BidFocus to get the referrals migrated in. So if you are a housing provider, keep doing what you're doing with submitting your opportunities, and the matches will be done during the match meetings. And once the housing referrals get into HMIS, we will send out another email to let everybody know so that you can start putting your housing opportunities directly into HMIS. If any of your users need access to the CES functionality in HMIS and they haven't already completed the HMIS coordinated entry training, they will need to do so. And I think that's about it. We will include the link to the HMIS coordinated entry training in the minutes. Also, for the access points, you should be running reports to review your enrollment and VI SPDAT data that is in HMIS to make sure that that data is accurate and confirm that the migration went successfully for your access point. And we have a link to that also in the meeting minutes. For access point, should we be referring people to the queue? Yes, you can start putting people onto the queue if you're using the individual or veteran coordinated entry system, but just be aware that I believe Rebecca is still using the existing PL for matches while we work on finalizing the referral migration, but yes, you can add them to the queue. All right, and the next one. And can I share my screen?
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was cascading enrollment and assessment data in HMIS. For those of you that were at the last Data and Performance Management Committee meeting, we did talk about this there, but I wanted to share it with this group. So this functionality is going to be available in HMIS starting today, and I felt it was easiest to just show you rather than tell you. So what this functionality does is that it will automatically auto-populate fields on your enrollment or assessment data if the client had a previous assessment within the previous year. So for this client, Oswald, you can see my agency up here is the OC training agency. And right now this client has enrollments at Aaron's agency as well as CityNet. So right now, what you've been seeing is just this. So you'll see that they have an enrollment and a start date and end date, and that's about it. But with this new functionality, you'll now see this I symbol. So this is at Aaron's agency. And when you click on the I symbol, you'll be able to view the client's fields for the enrollment screen, but you can't make any changes. There's no save button here. It's view only. But if you do an enrollment into your own agency, so I will do this emergency shelter project under my OC training agency, you will see that all of these fields are already populated because this client has completed these fields in a previous enrollment. So this will help decrease your data entry burden, and the data will populate from other agencies as long as the enrollment or assessment occurred within the past year. And keep in mind that the fields will only populate if it's the same field from the previous enrollment or assessment and the new enrollment or assessment. So approximate date started is not answered, and these two are not answered either because they were not completed in the previous assessment. So you do still need to go through this page and, number one, make sure everything's filled out, and also that the information that's being collected is still accurate. But we're hoping this will kind of cut down on your data entry a little bit. I got a so cool. I feel good about that. Thank you. Jackie's psyched too. Thanks, guys. Any questions about how this is going to work? It looks like no. So that is it for me.
Okay, so now we have Linda who's going to go over the Data and Performance Management Committee meeting agenda.
So the agenda for this month's Data Performance and Planning Committee meeting will be a discussion on the topic of COVID-19 and the impact on HMIS data. We will also be going over the details of the emergency shelter project performance report. The meeting will take place on Thursday, January 14th at 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Zoom. I've included the link, meeting ID, and also the password below on the slide. And then will also be including it on the meeting minutes. So please be sure to tune in to this month's data performance meeting.
Okay, so if your agency has any residential projects, emergency shelter, transitional housing, permanent supportive housing, other permanent housing, or rapid rehousing, you should have received an email on December 29th about the 2021 HIC and sheltered pit process. We've made a knowledge base article that will be kind of a repository for all of the 2021 HIC and sheltered pit process information. So you can check this out on the knowledge base just by searching 2021. It'll be the only thing that comes up. We'll include this in the minutes and we'll be linking it in all of our future HIC and PIT communications. So if you didn't receive that email, definitely make sure to contact the help desk if you're an agency administrator with one of those project types so we can make sure that you're on our email list. You can also check out this knowledge base article for a link to copies of the emails that we sent. For now, we are working on creating versions of the HIC answer form that contains 2020 data or whatever was most recently updated in HMIS, and those will be uploaded to your agency Dropbox folders by January 15th so that you can start reviewing and making any needed adjustments. So please make sure to keep an eye on your inbox for that. Oh, let me check for questions real quick. Okay.
Can I just add really quick on the HIC and PIT, the purpose of sending each agency the data that's in HMIS is that in most cases, your data should not be changing for your beds and units. So ideally, you'll just be able to do a quick review and say, yes, this is right, and move on with your life. So you only will need to make changes if you've somehow added beds or units, or if with COVID-19 you've had to decrease your capacity, maybe 25%, 50%, whatever it is, or if you've had an increase or decrease in funding. So this should help decrease your reporting burden on the HIC and PIT also.
Yeah, and
we got a question.
Will our HICs include the FEMA projects? Yes, they will. Those will include any non-congregate shelters that have been set up. Usually those were set up under specific FEMA agencies for your agency, so a separate agency in HMIS. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it probably means it won't apply to you, but your HIC answer form will include a list of all the projects we have for you in HMIS. And as you'll read in the email, in addition to what Erin said about not necessarily needing to change your unit and bed inventory information, other than those circumstances, this year we're asking that rapid rehousing projects report the maximum number of households they can serve at one time. So if you have rapid rehousing projects, make sure to look out for that. Okay, not seeing any other questions about the HIC and PIT in the chat, but if you have any, of course, feel free to leave them or submit a ticket. Just a quick update on the LSA. The deadline for submission was extended by HUD to January 15th, and we're hoping to submit before then. We know that a lot of you have made many corrections to help with this effort, so we just want to thank you again for all your assistance. We don't anticipate needing any more corrections on the agency side to be completed, but if we do, we will contact you individually as soon as possible. All right, so our last monthly training webinar was on the 31st on the topic of CES. We'll be sending out the materials from that meeting in the meeting minutes for today, and you can also check them out on our website. And this month, our monthly training will be on Thursday, January 28th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the topic of agency administrator responsibilities and data quality. This one does require registration, so either make sure to click here in the slide to register or on the link in the minutes. All right, so we completed our biannual, I'm never sure if that's the right way to say it, twice a year HMIS user survey. Overall feedback was pretty positive. We got about 30 respondents this time, which is pretty typical. So we wanted to pull out some interesting information and address some comments. So first we got, I think, 2 comments saying that the process for the digital forms, such as the HMIS account update form, the project setup form, the custom field request form, and all those other digital forms can be a little confusing. So we've made some updates to hopefully clarify the process on that. The button that you click at when you're done with your form now says submit to OCHMIS help desk, and we updated the confirmation message to make it more clear that when you submit a form, a ticket is automatically created for you in the help desk, and we will reach out to you in response to that. We were also able to update the confirmation email that you receive to include the details of your form so you can see exactly what you've submitted to us. So this is the first of 3 comments that we want to kind of go over. So if this was your comment, make sure to let us know if we address it or not, and if not, submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk. So this first one says a trainings link email would help new users. There's a lot of assumption that new users will just figure it out. And we are assuming this is about the training course website, which we agree is not a super intuitive process. One of our plans for this year was to move to an online course website that has a little better user interface. But we all know what happened with plans for this year. So we've created a knowledge base article that shows you how to enroll in a course and the links for each page on that website that you need to click on to get where you need to go. So hopefully this helps a little bit. If not, of course, always submit a ticket to the help desk and we can help you out. And then the second part of the comment is, I still can't leave notes on people's account in HMIS, people who we service but are not in the program. So if this was your comment, we ask that you review the Creating Client Notes and Public Alerts Knowledge Base article. This will help you learn how to add notes to client profiles that you are not currently serving. All right, next comment is someone who's unsatisfied with the data quality reports due to not being able to run the report yourself or being able to color code to make it easier to navigate through the corrections. So this comment is referring to data quality correction spreadsheets that we have sent out in the past. And the reason you can't recreate this yourself is because it's not something that is created entirely within Looker. We do export the data from Looker, but then we complete analysis in Excel and using Python to get those cool colors in there so that you can super easily identify the corrections that need to be made. And the reason we sometimes do this is just so that corrections can be super easily identified and completed more quickly than using Looker reports yourselves. But we do have some resources for monitoring your data completeness and timeliness, which are linked down here. Specifically at the September 2020 HMIS user meeting, we did a demonstration of how to use these reports to monitor your data quality. So we recommend reviewing that and these other resources. All right, this last one is about the project performance report. The person said that the report they received was incorrect as it was run weeks before it was given to the agencies. And by the time they received it, a lot of information had been corrected and the report did not represent the information in the database. So we're not sure if this comment means that this HMIS user missed the correction window that we sent, or if corrections were completed outside of the correction window, but we want to remind everyone to mark the PPR correction due dates in your calendar. So when we start the PPR process for a project type, we have to complete analysis for goal 5, which is unit utilization, and goal 10, which is recidivism ourselves, because it cannot be completed entirely in Looker. So we are uploading those goals to your individual agency Dropboxes and including an email asking you to review those goals and the goals that are in HMIS, which we demonstrated at the November 2020 HMIS user meeting by a certain date so that we can pull the final data after that date, after you've had time to make your corrections. Okay, let me just check for comments real quick. Okay. We got another comment that it was kind of hard to access client forms and privacy notices, so we just wanted to demonstrate where you can find that information. Just make sure to visit our website at ochmis.org and go to the HMIS Forms and Documents dropdown, and I'll show you that now. So if you hover over the Forms and Documents menu, some other menus appear. The HMIS Policies and Procedures just has a link to a PDF of our Policies and Procedures document. The Client Forms and Notices dropdown contains links to intake, assessment, and exit client forms for these different funding types. And the Privacy Forms page includes links to the privacy notice and the notice for collecting personal identified information. Then the setup forms include a data request form, which is for requesting data for clients not served by your agency. Then we have for agencies or projects that are currently set up in HMIS. So this would include the supplemental services form, the request to update bed information. Then we have for agencies and projects that are not currently set up in HMIS, which would include the agency and project setup form and the HMIS account update and testing form. We added a new question this year asking respondents to rate their knowledge as an HMIS user. And most users responded that they feel like their HMIS knowledge is intermediate. And in response to the comment question as a follow-up to this, most users just said that they needed to practice more in HMIS to advance to the next level. So we wanted to provide some kind of next steps if you feel like you relate to that. The number one thing to do would probably be to get familiar with reports. So if you check out our reports knowledge base articles, you'll find information on canned reports in HMIS and our resources for getting more familiar with Looker. We've had our Looker monthly training twice now, and when we met to go over the results of the HMIS user survey, we came up with a couple of ideas to make that training a little more interactive and to provide more examples for you to practice with. So get ready for that, I think next month. All right, the next step is to attend our monthly webinars. So each month we hold an hour to hour and a half long webinar that goes over a certain topic in depth. Like we discussed earlier, our upcoming webinar is on agency administrator responsibilities and data quality. But even if you're not an agency administrator, it might be helpful to attend just so you can kind of wrap your head around the practice of data quality. And last, we suggest that you get familiar with our knowledge base. So we have a knowledge base full of articles on technical support topics. And this is a really helpful resource. You can pull it up, while you're working, just to get more familiar with HMIS concepts. And Linda is going to go more in depth with our knowledge base. Don't see any comments. So if you have any comments or questions, again, just put them in the chat box. And Linda, take it away.
Okay, so we wanted to give you a little tour of our knowledge base so that you can get familiar with using this resource to better your HMIS workflow. So first off,
sorry, Linda, do you need to share your screen or do you want me to do the slides?
You can do the slides, but I'm gonna share my screen after.
Okay.
So first off, what is a knowledge base? A knowledge base is a published collection of documents, which includes answers to frequently asked questions, step-by-step instructions, how-to guide, and then also troubleshooting instructions on your common issues. And the purpose of a knowledge base is to make it easy for users to find solutions to their problems without having to ask for help. So if I can please share my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So to get to our knowledge base, you will need to go onto the OCHMIS website and click on the third link under the helpful links section. So it would be the knowledge base right here. So it will take you to this page where you will see a preview for the list of some of the knowledge base sections regarding HMIS. And then also it also displays some of the top articles that users have recently viewed. And you can also click on browse all sections to view all the sections that we have for our knowledge base. So for example, if you were a new case manager in HMIS and you wanted to enroll a client in a project, you can simply go to the search bar and type in some keywords. In this case, I would put, enroll client, and it will return any searches with articles that include those words. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this article right here, as it will show me how to enroll clients in a project. The KB article will give me some background information on what I can expect from this KB article, which includes step-by-step instructions on how to enroll a client into a project. It also gives me a video with the same information on how to enroll clients, depending on which learning style best appeals to me. Sometimes going through a video might be confusing, as you have to scan the entire video to find your answer, especially when it's a new video that you haven't seen before. So a KB article will give you step-by-step instructions that include screenshots to better assist you. So with this, you can pull up the article, and then you can also pull up HMIS side by side and you can start to enroll your client into the project. So first you want to start by clicking the programs tab as it says so here in the KB article. And then it will also give you an explanation of what's on the programs tab. And then you would want to click on the program you wish to enroll. You want to make sure that you're in the right agency. So for me, I would click on the Springfield agency, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first project, and then it will pop out the details of the project. And on the KB, it would give you a layout of the pop out, and it will give you additional information, such as bed and unit occupancy or the availability of the project. So once the project has been selected, you can go ahead and click enroll. And it will take you to the steps of answering all the enrollment questions for your client. So down here, it will kind of take you through answering the questions, you know, based on living situation, disabling condition, cash income, non-cash benefits, health insurance, etc. And then once you are finished, you can click save. So we do strongly encourage that anytime you run into a problem regarding HMIS, such as deleting an enrollment, or if you are trying to run a CAPER report, you can go ahead and search that here on the search bar using keywords. And then just click on the desired KB article, and it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to complete that problem. So as we do have articles that will guide you on how to work through any issues that you may have. And in the event that you cannot find a solution to your problem, please submit a ticket and we will be happy to assist you. And then you can access the KB article and also the ticket system on the left-hand side under the helpful link section of the OCHMIS website. And I believe that is it. Do I have any questions?
It doesn't look like it. All right, so basically to wrap up, if you have a question, check out our knowledge base or submit a ticket to the HMIS help desk. Okay, Linda, go ahead.
So that is a wrap on our annual HMIS agency audit. We want to thank you all for participating in this year's audit. I know this year was pretty different from the previous years as it was our first time conducting a virtual audit ever. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to take this quick survey just to share your thoughts or any feedback that you may have so that we can better assist you next year. And we look forward to hearing you again next year.
All right, thanks, Linda. Now we have Diana with some knowledge base updates.
Good morning, everyone. So just to reiterate, the knowledge base is important, and we do encourage you to check out our knowledge base. If you have any questions beyond the knowledge base, of course, please submit a help desk ticket. We have a couple of updates that we've added since our last user meeting. The first one is enrolling in an OC HMIS training course. So we've updated the step-by-step guide on enrolling in a training course and also on creating an account. Also, it has information regarding how to reset your password if you've forgotten it, things like that. So I encourage you to check that out. The next update we have is on the new staff onboarding. So this is a guide regarding which training courses are required for new staff. So our training is kind of specific to an access role. So for example, an agency administrator would have different training requirements than an agency staff. And also with the CES rollout, we do have different training that's required for that access. So we encourage you, if you have new staff coming on board, to check out the new staff onboarding KB to make sure that you are directing them to the correct training courses. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, and we also updated our 2021 HIC and Sheltered Pit knowledge base article. We do have some new processes for 2021. We also have information regarding deadlines and what is required for this process. So I encourage you to check out that knowledge base article if you are participating in this this process, sorry. We also updated our coordinated entry reports on enrollment and VI SPDAT data. So again, we have a step-by-step guide on running these reports for the CES enrollment and the veteran assessment data. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And then for this month, the upcoming holiday we have is January 18th. That's a Monday, and it's to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So the HMI help desk will be closed that day. Any tickets submitted on that Monday will be addressed on the next Tuesday, which is January 19th.
Okay, thank you, Diana. It doesn't look like we've gotten any more questions or comments in the chat box. So if you have any burning questions or anything you want to see demonstrated in HMIS, please let us know now. We'll hang out here for a few minutes to make sure that everybody's questions are answered.